Yeah, yeah.
Throw your hands up, everyone. Shake the sense that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me. Shaking over this dance floor. Throw your hands up, everyone. Shake the sense that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me. Shaking over this dance floor.
Enjoy your life, be free, live right. Enjoy your life, have some fun and enjoy.
Coming up on Mental Health Marty, the mind of a man. Stay tuned because June is Men's Health Awareness Month. What's up, everybody? It's me, it's Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, coming to you live and always in living color in Southern California, where the sun is always shining. I think we're through our low rain period and we're almost done with June gloom, but hope you are doing well. What's up, everybody? As Martin would say, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yes. Hope you are doing well. Listen, we are having a great time. This past weekend, we have celebrated Father's Day and Juneteenth, and hope that you had a blessed and amazing Father's Day. To all the fathers out there, we salute you. We salute you. We salute you. We salute you. Because we as men of color, and especially as fathers, we are doing the job. And just FYI, there's new reports that have come out by CDC, the Center of Disease Control, that actually show that Black men and Black fathers are actually more involved in the lives of their children on a daily basis, whether they stay in the home or they don't stay in the home, more than any other culture. And we have to change that negative narrative that's going on out there about Black fathers of being deadbeat dads and not involved. Well, we have the statistics to prove and to show and tell you that that is a lie. Black fathers are involved in the lives of their children. The problem is that the system, and I hate to say this, please don't say, listen, some of you mothers who are keeping your children and your fathers apart from each other, shame on you. Let's bridge that gap so that we can continue to be the strong fathers that we are and in the lives of their children, because we need both mothers and fathers to raise healthy children in a healthy society. So I'm off my soapbox with that, because being a father, that's very sensitive and near and dear to my heart. One of the most rewarding things that has occurred to me is being a father. So again, hope that you had an amazing Father's Day for all the fathers and all the families, and that you celebrated Juneteenth like never before. There were so many Juneteenth celebrations going on out here in Los Angeles and in Southern California. It was amazing to see all of us just come together to unify. No trouble, no stress, just loving all the shades, the cultures, the sizes, the personalities, all of that about who we are as a culture, because this country was founded on indentured servants and indentured slaves. So we are American history. We're not just a part of American history. We are American history. So that's just a soapbox I'm on, y'all. Hope that you're enjoying this. But let me tell you, hey, what are we about here on the Mental Health Marty Show? I am so glad that you asked that question. The Mental Health Marty Show is really a psychoeducational show to support you along your mental health journey. Now, we are not a replacement for you seeing your psychologist. We're not a replacement for you seeing your therapist, your life coach, your pastor, your priest, your homie, all those other, your barber. We definitely want you to make sure your fade and all that is tight, your beard is tight, those locks are tight, everything. But we come along to aid along what you're already doing to make sure that you are, like the song says, enjoying your life, because that's what it's all about. We have been secretly suffering in silence for far too long, and it's time for us to speak up, speak out, so that we can live our best lives. However, if you're experiencing any type of psychological emergency, we definitely want you to go to your nearest urgent care or dial the mental helpline, which is 988, which is a national helpline that can help you through your mental health crises and everything that you're doing. So, hey, listen, we don't have to suffer in silence any longer. So that's what we're all about. Now, how do you stay engaged with us on the show? We definitely want you to be engaged by going to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel. There I go. I'm like the Facebook, the YouTube. Anyway, we want you to go to YouTube, look up the Mental Health Marty Show. On there, you'll see over 200 shows where we have put so many things out there. It's a great resource to help you along your mental health journey so that we can stop the stinking thinking about mental health services and have the conversation, because that's what it's all about. So in order to, although we're on other platforms, we will see your comments on YouTube. How do I do that? Go to that again. Go to your YouTube home channel, type in Mental Health Marty in there, hit the subscribe button. Hey, when you hear that, you know that you're going to be notified every time a show comes on. And then also hit that like button. Add some comments. We would love to have your comments and love to hear your feedback on everything we're doing. If this show is helping you, hey, tonight we want you to do a 5 if it's helping you, and don't even comment if it's not. But anyway, enough about that. Listen, tonight we are talking about June is Mental Health Awareness Month, or Men's Health Awareness Month. Mental Health Awareness Month is May. June is all about men. And we're going to be talking about the mind of a man tonight. We're talking about the psychological mind of a man and how that permeates every area of our lives. When we don't have strong psychological mindset, we don't have strong physical mindset. When we don't have strong physical mindset, we don't have strong psychological mindset. They work hand in hand. And so tonight we want to uncover and have this discussion about what does it mean to be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, all those leads that you want to, and to make sure we are, as men, addressing those challenges and issues that we have to, in order that we might live our best lives. Now, I'm so excited to have this brother with me. He is definitely the brother from another mother. Listen, we have this amazing banter. I love this brother like he is my ninja. And so we have been talking every third Tuesday of the month. He is going to be my regular co-host, but tonight it's just going to be he and I, because we're going to talking about mental health issues in the Black and brown communities, especially with our BIPOC men. So all the way from the DMV area, none other than my brother, Thomas Davis. Thomas, what's up, you?
Good evening. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Good evening. How are you?
I'm well.
I give you this big old
Good to
intro.
see you, man.
Good evening. Good seeing you
Man,
too, man.
you are my brother from another. You are my ninja, all that great stuff. I appreciate you, all of that.
Well, we appreciate
How
you
you
too,
been?
man. What's been, listen, try to live life and stay sane and pay taxes and all that. That's a whole nother. I need a therapy session just to get done with my taxes.
Hey,
Whoa, they're killing me.
Listen, I ain't gonna show you my little bills right here. I just put up my letter from my tax person. The IRS said, no joke, pay your quarterly taxes.
We ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother. That's gonna cause me to be depressed.
No, look, that's that mind over what matters. Staying out
You
of
know,
jail.
they want right. They want that mind over the bill. Pay that. They want the
Right,
cash,
right,
so they
right,
can
right,
take your in.
right.
Man, what's been going on? How's the DMV? How was the DMV? I would love to be in DMV for Juneteenth. How was the Chocolate City
Man,
for Juneteenth, brother?
well, the chocolate city is not as chocolate like it used to be. But here in the deal, but before I go there, happy Father's Day, brother. Happy
Thank
Juneteenth
you.
and happy Father's Day. But here
Yeah.
in the DMV today, there were a lot of fellowship. There were a
Yes.
lot of community barbecues. There were a lot of fitness for health. So there
Yes.
was a park off of 14th Street, and they was actually doing a fit challenge where you was out there doing
Love
free
it.
exercises. They was providing
Yes.
free smoothies and free drinks that are healthy and less of sugar. So they did a lot of activities around physical health today. And they also
Love
did
it.
some mental health activities as well. So it was on and popping in Washington, D.C., aka Once Upon a Time, Chocolate
Was
City.
about Atlanta trying to take the reins for being the chocolate city these days,
No,
but hey,
Atlanta and Charlotte. Yeah.
you know what? I ain't mad at Charlotte. Charlotte, all right with me. If I had one more good move in me, because Cali is killing me trying to buy a house. It's crazy trying to find a house under $800,000. That's ridiculous.
But
Yes,
how
yes.
how big is the house though? 800,000.
What about? It's not about 2,500 square feet. It's not like it's a huge mansion or anything like that, man. Yes,
Mm.
yes. Listen, we getting ready for the 2028 Olympics, and they about to drive us up out of there. They already got
Oh yeah.
signage
Oh
all
yeah.
over LA for 2028 Olympics and everything. But we didn't come to talk about that, man.
Oh,
We
okay,
came
okay,
to
okay.
talk about the mind of a man and talk about that June is men's health and awareness and all of that. And I know down at Lamert Park and downtown in the heart of the city in LA, they were doing a lot of things down there, mental health, physical health. I was at another
Awesome.
fair at the Jesse Owens Center down on Manchester and Century doing some work. And again, in the heart of the city, doing some great work there and just talking about mental health. And one of the things, man, I think that broke my heart the most, I had a mother come up. I have that, I don't know if you've seen my new t-shirt that says, I am a safe space, hashtag in Black suicide. And she came
Mm.
up and she just began to tear up, and I'm like, sis, what's going on? And she goes, that
Mhm.
shirt means a lot to me because my son committed suicide and I did not understand and realize that he was so depressed. And then she began to share
Mhm.
the story too, that even when she was in her early 20s, how she had attempted suicide. And I think this whole thing about suicide ideation, it's a real thing. And we have to talk about how do we stop the stinking thinking. And so she has
Mhm.
been sharing her story to help other mothers, to help other
Amazing.
Black men and women to have these conversations that we're not going to look at you crazy and all the things. In fact, we are going to applaud you. So I had to give her one of those t-shirts just to let her know, sis, I support you. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. But we have to talk about our mental health and also how do we really become comfortable and just have the conversations. And I know, Thomas, you see a lot of Black men. What do you think is our number one reasons or reasons for not talking about our mental health and safety as Black men?
I think the main thing to really just talk about is the fact that we as men, we was taught that we should act a certain way, we should look a certain
Right,
way.
right,
See those guns?
right.
We should look a
Oh,
certain
oh,
way.
oh.
Men are not supposed to
Yeah.
cry. Watch it. We are supposed to be the protector, the provider,
Yes,
the
yes,
assurance. We're supposed to
yes,
be everything. And I think sometimes we as men sometimes get caught up in this false reality and we forget
yeah.
that we are human.
Yes, that's so good because you're right. We take on the
Right.
world and we never say I'm tired. It's okay to be tired. It's okay that you just like, listen, I don't have the bandwidth today to handle
Right.
that situation. I don't have the mental capacity today. Now, tomorrow, or maybe even if it's next week, I just need to get some rest. I need to get my mental health back into place. I need to get my physical health into place. I need to sleep. I need to eat. I just need to do a couple things that's going to take care of me so that I can take care of you. And that's even if I choose to take care of you, because we have some
Right.
choices in this life,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But I think, when I
sometimes it's just key to just breathe, right? Like, let's just take a breath.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. But we don't do that because we have not been given permission, like you said, to breathe. We haven't been given permission to say this load is too heavy today.
Right.
We haven't been
Right.
given. Now, what I find interesting, whenever we're doing in a, me, Thomas, I believe that we as Black men are allowed four basic type of personality or emotional types. I
Okay.
believe that we're allowed to first be one, the angry Black man, because that's almost
Hmm.
expected. We're allowed to be the
Right.
angry Black man. We're allowed to be the over sexualized Black man. You know, uh,
Yeah.
calm down. No, but we're allowed to be the over sexualized Black man. You
Right. Right.
clowning, you clowning. Where it's almost acceptable that we have 5, 6, 7, 10 baby mamas and all that. But that's another whole mental health issue that we're not even dealing with ourselves.
Mm.
And not liking ourselves, so we're going around spreading our seed and spreading those other, because we don't love ourselves. If we loved
Right.
ourselves enough, we would curtail all of that. So the angry Black man, the over sexualized Black man, the entertaining Black man, and I think there's a twofold to that. As long as we're a sports entertainer and making money
Hmm.
for the brand and the family, you're good.
Hmm.
Now, we don't care what your
Hmm.
mental health condition is, as long as you're making money for us in that regards. Or right, or the rapper entertainer in that regards, as long as you're doing all that, again, bringing in money for the family and for that too. We're allowed to be that. And the fourth one is the Black buffoon, the one that we can walk all over, the one that's the baby mama. That's a yes, whatever you say, ma'am. Okay, baby. In that regards. But we are so much more complex than that. There's so much more, and so anything outside of those four realms, I believe, Thomas, we struggle in. We struggle
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
knowing who we are. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say sometimes we don't operate outside of the gray, right? If it's
Yes.
not within those four compounds that you stated, it's kind of like we're
Yes.
walking into foreign territory. And so if I don't know the
Mm,
land, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what this is about. Because sometimes I
right.
think when you talk about the entertainment, the first thing that came to my mind is why don't we as men learn how to laugh? So like when you make the comment about over sexualized, we have to bring
Right.
humor because
We
sometimes
do.
men,
We
we are
do.
always so bogged down with stress and anxiety, and we just forget to laugh at something.
Yes. I love that.
Right.
I don't know if you follow them on IG where it says Black Men Smile. And they
Yes,
have this
yes.
amazing, yes, I got that t-shirt, and I love the other one that also says Black Boy Joy, because
Yep.
smiling and joy and happiness is not often associated, if at all, to Black men.
No,
That's a
no, no.
problem.
It's an issue.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Aren't we human? Listen, our brains still are all the same. Our hearts are still all the same. We still gonna bleed red blood. So why can't I be afforded the opportunity of having some joy and smiling in my life? That's why I'm gonna laugh as much as I can in this life. Because listen, sometimes we gotta laugh to keep from crying. Come on, somebody.
Mm,
I'm talking and
mm.
ain't nobody commenting. I'm talking and ain't
Well,
nobody commenting.
well,
Yes,
y'all better blow the chat up, blow the chat up.
yes,
Or
that's right.
Marty,
That's right.
why can't we just simply be ourselves?
Yes, yes. But
Simply
but
be who you
it,
are.
but in order to be who you are, you have to know who you are.
No. The
Right.
mind of a man.
The
Mm.
mind of a man. In order to be who you are, you have to know who you are. That's why one of the first questions that I do ask Black men, I asked someone this just 2 weeks ago, and I said,
Hmm.
Dog, who are you?
Right. Right. Right.
And of course, he got, well, I'm divorced. I do this, and this. I said, I know all that. I read the intake form, but
Yeah.
who are you when no one else is around? When you're by yourself, when
Mm.
you don't have all the other influences of the world, who are you? What are your desires? What do you want to
Marty.
do?
Mm,
Yes.
mm.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. Have you sat
Yes,
in
sir.
your office with a client, right? And you have a
Hmm. Hmm.
mirror in your office,
Hmm.
and you say, I need you to do me one thing. Walk up to that mirror and give me 7 things that describes who you are.
Thomas, that we have struggled with when to say, can you just? I go here. Can you just give me three?
Right, right.
It's a shame when black men cannot give you three qualities about themselves that they love, or three strengths about
Mm,
themselves, about who they are, and what is their desires. And most of them,
mm,
again, too many of us define, you said it this, by what we can do. We're protectors and providers, and we don't know anything else outside of that realm. But are we
mm-hmm.
protecting well? And are we providing well? Well, if no one ever tells you, listen, dad, husband, whatever, I appreciate you. You are a great protector. You are a great provider. Because of you, we are able to do X, Y, and Z. When's the last time you complimented a black man? When's the last time you said, black man, I'm proud of you? When's the last time you said, listen, you're doing a great job. Because of you, we are where we are at. When's the last time you said that? Even if they're not doing it perfectly, because let all the perfect people in the room put I'm perfect in the chat. You won't see anyone put anything in the chat right now. Yes.
Let me look. I don't see that. Marty,
Yes.
what you just said
Mhm.
is very key. And I want to
Yes.
stay there real quick. So the first thing is this. So on Father's Day, I made
Uh-huh.
sure that I literally picked up my phone and I text all of my male clients who are parents, step parents,
Wow.
godparents, and I said
Wow.
to them, Happy Father's Day. There was so
Wow.
many people that responded back and was like, wow, this is the first thing that I've heard all day. So just imagine when you talk
Truth.
about the
Yes.
mind and you talk about
Yes.
what matters and the mind of a man, that there are fathers out here that are doing the thing
Right.
and we don't even appreciate them. But the moment they slip up and they make a mistake, it's the end of the world.
Yes, and we won't label them as deadbeat dads, no showing dad. And let me say this: we have to stop saying that they are just a sperm donor. Stop saying that. Do you know what it not only does to the mind of a man, but what it also does to the mind of your children? You have
Right.
now taken the role, the power, all of that. Listen, I don't care if he only has visitation once a week, once a month, or what have you. Listen, it is not your job to tear that man down. Time tells everything. It really does. Listen, you
Mm,
support them. You just say, listen, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. It'd be better you don't say anything at all. But we have to learn
right.
how to build and support our black men. I know this is, we're talking about health and wellness issues. Thomas, I was looking at some statistics earlier tonight, and
Mm-hmm.
what some of the statistics we said, it's been said, but I want to repeat it because I definitely think it bears repeating. Do you know the average life of a man is about 6 to 10 years less than that of a woman?
Wow.
The average
Wow.
lifespan of a man is about 6 to 10 years less than a woman. Now, if we add in black men, that statistic goes up. It's anywhere from 7 to 12 years less than
Mm-hmm.
an average black woman. And let me say
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
too. I want to give a shout out. My grandfather turned 92 years old on Father's Day. So, Pops, mad love to
Wow.
you. He is still kicking. He's getting around, and memory's not as sharp. But let me tell you something. That man was the reason that I am here today. He kept a lot of confusion down, and he served as a male role model. And I would not be the man that
Amazing.
I am today without my 92
Amazing.
year old grandfather, and he's not even really, if I'm being technical, not my biological grandfather because he's not my mother's father, but he
Mm-hmm.
raised my mother as if she were his son, his daughter rather, and he never once put in their step or anything. And so for that, I salute Sylvester Jones. Listen, we call him Pops, Bubba Sonny, Bub, all of that, Granddaddy. But Pops is the real deal, and he is still looking good at 92, walking on his own. He's got a cane and everything. But let me tell you something: the brother is still sharp. So salute to Pops, and just really. At 92, he has to be doing something right because when we're talking about mental health, Black men life again expectancy is that less than that of most
Right.
Black women. And when we're talking about some of the disproportionate impacts on the lives of men, it's heart disease and cancer. Again, heart disease and cancer, leading to strokes and heart attacks as well. Go ahead, Thomas.
So it's funny that you brought that up. So I sat on a panel 2 Saturdays ago, and we talked
Uh-huh.
about men's health. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
segment that talked about health wise. Don't you know,
Yes.
Marty, that prostate cancer is now
Yes.
the age has gone up? I mean, lesser. So they say
Yes.
around 45, 50, but now you got to start getting checked in your mid 30s.
Yes. Yes.
So
You really do.
men that are listening to this show, please go and get checked. Get your prostate checked. There are different techniques, and I know that there are different stigmas
They
around
have
getting your
home rent,
prostate checked. They have
but
different types of
Thomas,
tests now.
yeah, they have. I'm a part of Kaiser. They send you a home kit so that you can do it
Kit.
in the privacy of your home and the home kit, and you mail it back in. So, and it's very non-invasive. Just a little
Right.
Q-tip. Do what you got to do, and that is
Right.
it's you get to do it. You're in control of it. You don't have feeling uncomfortable, anything like that, or embarrassed in your own home. You mail it in, and so we don't have any excuses for not doing those things. But those are
Right.
prostate cancer. This is the statistic that blew my mind. They said with cancer, the chances of men being diagnosed with cancer has increased from one in every two
Mm-hmm.
men will be diagnosed with some form of cancer. That's
Mm-hmm.
scary. One,
Mm-hmm.
so with the two of us, one of us potentially, according to that statistic, is going to get diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Right.
And it's so
It's
important
scary.
that we know our history. Yes, our family tree, because if cancer runs in your family, you need to know the family tree. I love genograms and shaking family trees because we need to know
Mm-hmm.
what runs
Mm-hmm.
in our
Right.
families. And listen, and the
Right.
person you might hook up with, you need to know what runs in their family as well. Hello,
What's in your
lights. I'm
blood? What's
talking.
in your
What's
blood?
in your blood? Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right, right. And that is so key, Marty, because we also got to think about what we're eating too, right? Because what
Yes.
we
Come on.
intake can also lead to some of those things. How we respond to things. You know, they say if you
Yes.
are in the sun a lot and you don't put your
Yes.
sunscreen on, you can have skin cancer. So we gotta
Yes.
educate ourselves in 2023, and we gotta be vigilant. Just like it is important to make money, to entertain people, as you
Yes.
said earlier,
Yes.
to be all those four things.
Yes.
We also got to be someone that protects our body, protect our mind,
Yes.
go to
Yes.
the doctor, and as you said on your onset of your show, see a certified licensed board physician to get checked.
I can't go see that witch voodoo
All right,
doctor
I'm gonna
down
shut
in
up.
Louisiana.
No, don't do it. Don't do it because you're gonna walk backwards. No, no harm, no disrespect to my New Orleans people. Ha ha ha! It's a joke.
Right, right. Mom and them. Now, some of them good old remedies, but you know really what worked also, that we look at our grandparents and our grandparents and all that,
Yes.
they grew their own food and they ate a
Yeah.
lot healthier. Listen, they grew their greens and their tomatoes and corn and okra and all that stuff, and they fattened their own hogs instead of with the pesticides and all that. We got to
Mm.
get back to doing some getting back to the
Yes.
basics and quit eating all this processed food and
Yes,
get
yes,
back to healthy eating and
yes,
lifestyle,
yes.
and leave all that fast food and all these other things alone, because is essentially killing us. So if we're
It
looking
is.
at
It is.
heart 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 conditions, and we're looking at cancer, we're looking at, again, heart attacks and strokes, they're killing us. 80, again, I'm going to say this statistic, Thomas: 80% of strokes, especially within men, are avoidable. 80% of strokes are avoidable. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. We got to take charge and care of our lives. Listen, I just had my doctor's appointment today. Thank God for virtual and all that. I had some blood work done. I have my blood work. I have them draw blood on me I do it 4 times a year. Every
Oh,
quarter,
good,
I'm up in there.
good.
I'm serious. I do. At being a man in my 50s, don't you say nothing. I make sure. I see you. I see you. Hold your tongue. Hold your praise. Hold your praise. Hold your praise. Hallelujah. Come on, come on. If I couldn't say a word, I just wave my hands. Glory to God. But
Okay,
But seriously, because I want
right,
to check my blood pressure.
right.
Diabetes runs on both sides of my family and everything. I want to make
Yes,
sure I'm not getting anything. And so, for the most part, he says, Marty, your health is overall good. Your heart is great. Your liver's great. Your
right.
kidneys great. All these things great. He says, now we need to push this blood pressure down a little bit. So my blood pressure medicine
Hmm.
did increase a little bit. He says, but here's what you can do, Marty. If you just exercise a little bit more, maybe drop 10, 15 pounds, you're going to see a huge shift in your diet and everything. I'm a little low in vitamin D, so they're giving me this 12-week extra boost in vitamin D that I have to do. He says by then, calcium and vitamin D regimen and all that, you're going to be fine. Other than that, you're in great health. And so that's great, because I want to make sure every quarter I'm like, give me a full blood panel. Just take all them vials you need to make sure I'm healthy and strong. I believe in making sure we are healthy, and so I can't eat all that Chinese food, because all that sodium cuts my blood pressure. Yes, and I love me some good old Chinese food, and some sushi. But when you put all that in there, that soy sauce that dries your
You can
sodium
have all
right
that.
on up.
You can
Come
have
on, come
all that.
on. Okay.
Nah,
Well,
I'm good. I'm good.
but
Well, look, it's interesting
uh-huh.
that you say that. I went to the doctor today and I did the
Okay.
same exact thing. And my
Right.
doctor said something similar. Continue to exercise, continue to take your vitamin D, and live. And it's interesting that you say that
Yes.
because we had a
Yes.
similar report. I have and so just for full transparency, I have a family member that is sometimes have to go into the hospital, and so I
Right.
do provide those resources to replenish, to give back to the blood bank. So
Right.
I have to
Right.
make sure that I'm good, and it is
Yes.
no shade.
Yes.
I have to make sure that I'm living
That's
life
right.
so
That's
I can be able
good.
to give life.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
say that again. I
Come
have
on.
to
Come on.
be
That's
able to live life so I can
so that you
continue
can
to
give.
give life.
That's good, Thomas. That is so good. And if we took it from that perspective, we would do a lot better with making sure that we remain
Right,
healthy and strong.
right.
And it doesn't take a whole lot. Listen, if you just
Mm-mm.
get the body in motion, walk. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Do whatever you got to do just to keep the body in motion, so that you are again living, so that you can,
Right.
I'm going to use your term there, give life.
Live
Give
life.
life.
Right, right.
Yes. Thomas, talk to us
I
about
want
this
to go back
correlation.
to.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to go back real quick to what you said about strokes. Right. What do
Hmm.
you think are the leading causes of strokes and heart attacks in black men?
Stress. Stress.
Bingo! You get a dollar. You get a dollar. Yes, we
I need
as
about
black.
$10,000, please.
Yeah. I got you in
Y'all heard
10
it here.
years. I got you in 10 years. But no. All jokes aside, though, we as
Right.
men are stressed. Even
Yes.
now, we
Yes.
stress. We stress trying to be a parent. We stress trying to get relationships in order. We stress trying to
Yes.
keep our mind, our thoughts in
Yes.
order,
Yes.
and we don't have nobody sometimes that men feel that they can talk to because why? We supposed to be rough and tough. So we carry
Hmm.
all of this weight on us, and that's
Thank
what
you.
leads us to have those particular health challenges, unfortunately.
But you're right. And stress also feels like having a heart attack. I have had a
Mm-hmm.
great friend of mine who has gone, I kid you not, gone to the hospital. We're in June,
Mm-hmm.
mid June right now. I promise you, he's been to the hospital more than 15 times thinking he's had a heart attack. And every
Wow.
last time it has been stress. And he says, Marty, that thing is so real. I feel like I'm about to collapse. I feel like I'm about to die. Stress. We have
Yeah.
to learn
Yeah.
how to rid ourselves of the stress and do the necessary things. Because let me tell you something, they're going to put your behind in the ground. We're going to cry for about 3 or 4 days. And again, as soon as we get done, life is going to move on.
And they're gonna
And
walk
we
over
have
top of your
to.
grave and find somebody else.
Yes, but we also have to look at for those of us who are, have a responsibility. You have families,
Right.
and that
Right.
doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have children. If you're taking care of your
Right.
mother, I look at because my mother lives with me, and I look at having Tony, my minor child. My other two children are
Mm-hmm.
adults. I look at those
Right.
things that I'm responsible for. Look, are we leaving major holes and gaps and causing others to if something were to happen to us, that they have to
Mm.
declare a bankruptcy or some other things because we have not managed ourselves. We are so vitally important to the role.
Right.
We don't need to
Right.
add to the police shootings. We don't need to add to the shootings that's happening
Mm.
in the community. We don't need to be, again, I'm going to go with Dr. Rita Walker from the University of Houston. And she says it this way. We're so accustomed to trauma and stress till we no longer recognize when we are in crises. And that is a shame. We have to, we are in crisis. Someone dial 911 and call it upon yourself because you need to get some rest, relaxation. You need to get rid of all this stress. We need to eat better. We need to exercise. We need to go see our doctors, all those things so that we can live our best lives. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thomas, there's also this correlation that happens with being physically ill and being mentally ill. As I was sharing at the top of the show,
Mm.
there's such a great correlation with that. And that's why when I see people who have depression and anxiety, a lot of the first things that I will ask is, when's the last time you had a physical? When's the last time you've seen your
Mm-hmm.
doctor? Because if
Mm-hmm.
we are not physically well, especially chronic pain, those with chronic
Mm-hmm.
diseases, there's a direct
Mm-hmm.
correlation with depression and chronic diseases that we need to be seeing a therapist as well as our physician so that we can get those to an integrative approach to medicine. And that's how we have to look at our psychological warfare and everything that we're doing as well. What's your thoughts on that same subject on integrative medicine?
What I like about what you just said about the chronic disease piece and the mental
Mm-hmm.
health, if I have a chronic disease or a disease period, it
Yes.
messes with my mental, right?
There you go.
Because I
There you
can't
go.
accept it. It all starts with
Yes.
acceptance. You got to be
Yes.
able to accept the fact that this is what I've been faced with, and this is my current
Yes.
position. Now that
Yes.
I have accepted it, then I have to begin to do my research because I am a
Yes.
proponent of herbal medicine. I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Yes.
If you can
Yeah.
take some herbal medicines and do whatever that you have to do first, I'm fine with that. Because
Right.
because there are medications that have side effects, but there are some
We know that.
medications that you just have to take. So by no
Yes.
means am I saying don't take your medicine. What I'm saying is
Right.
read
Right.
up on the labels, read up on all of that. But when we talk about the comparison piece, what's important to me is in order for me to accept what I have going on
Right.
here, I have to
Right.
be able to accept the fact of what my condition is.
There
Because
you
what's
go.
happening is
There you go.
the mind of a man, your mind is in denial. So you're causing
Yes.
your body to become overwhelmed, which is leading to the
Yes.
anxiety, which is leading to the
Yes.
depression because you haven't
Yes.
accepted the fact that this is what is happening to me. And so
Yes.
when you talk
Yes.
about the correlation is very key because the word is called correlation. Relations, that means it is together. So things
Hmm.
have to be together, which means that your mind has to be in congruence with what's happening in your life. You got to be able to go
Yes.
to therapy. You have to be able to go meet with your physicians. Both
Yes.
physicians should be talking with one another
Thank
from
you.
a
Thank you.
therapeutic standpoint and from a physical standpoint. Your medical doctor should always be in conversations with your psychologist or your counselor because
I
that's what you
totally
call
agree.
the dual diagnosis.
Yes, and I had some clients where they gave me informed consent, and I was able to talk to their
Right,
physician, and
right,
it's
right,
just a
right.
simple form. It's nothing that's overly complicated. You give your physician informed consent, you give your therapist informed consent, and then we get it all together. And there were
You
some. I
sign it.
had one client that I met with, and once a month we did a
Hmm.
session together, a 15-minute session that I did with their physician, and together we discovered things and was able to do a much more accurate diagnosis. And she was able to get some anxiety medication straight from their doctor. Now, some of your basic anxiety, your basic depression, all of that, your doctor can give that to you, and you can get in a
Right,
lot sooner with your primary care as opposed
right,
to a
right,
psychiatrist. Now, just for the record, Thomas and I are not medical doctors. So we're just giving you what we've seen in our practice and what we
right,
recommend. We are not saying this is the golden rule. This is what we have seen and experienced in our practices. And by
right,
doing that, having me speak with the doctor, and likewise, and I was able to see some patterns based upon
right,
our conversations, because truth be told, we as therapists see the client much more than the primary care, and our visits aren't just 30 minutes every once a quarter or once every other month.
right,
By that time I've
right.
had 6-8 sessions with them, and I can disclose patterns that I can see that the primary care doctor didn't know. You're going to say something, go right ahead.
I was gonna say what's very also key, and you hit it. When the
Hmm.
physicians are meeting with the client, right? And say, for example, I'm saying, "Oh, I'm having headaches, but I went and
Right.
got a CAT scan. There is no
Right.
tumors. There is nothing that's showing it." And the doctor
Right.
said, "Hmm." So then I meet with my therapist, and I'm telling my therapist, "Well, I'm just overwhelmed because I just don't know what to do." And
Right.
me as the therapist is saying, well, Thomas, a lot of this is anxiety provoking, which is elevating your
Right.
pressure. You're having sleep patterns disruption because your mind
Thank
is
you.
constantly thinking. So
Going. Yep.
which means that the therapist needs to be in contact with the medical doctor because the medical
Yes.
doctor can misdiagnose
There we go. And that's very
something that's
common.
not really there. Right, right,
It is so common because there are so many attributes when you're looking at
right.
depression and looking at anxiety. And I love what you said. You're able to talk about sleep patterns because we know that a lack of sleep can affect us tremendously in the areas
Facts,
of depression and anxiety and all these
facts,
other things.
facts.
Because anxiety and depression, I call them the evil wonder twins. They tend to hang out together. They're not like
Mm.
grace and mercy. No, they're not. No, sir. No, sir. It says, grace and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Well, baby, if you're not careful, depression and anxiety will follow you all the
Will
days of
follow
your
you
life.
all the days.
Right. And lead you right to your grave. But we have to be mindful of all those things. What do you sleep? What's your sleep patterns? What are you eating? Are we overly drinking and smoking and eating wrong foods? Because there are certain foods that can cause depression. If we're not careful, all those greasy and fatty foods, hog maw, pig feet, chitterlings, and all this other stuff, you got to leave all that stuff alone.
Green beans, tomatoes, you name it. But Marty,
Right,
let's talk
right.
about this right quick. Let's talk about this because I am exposing my clients here in DC on this word of self medicated. When you
Let's
think
talk
of the
about it.
words, when you think of the word in 2023 of what self-medicated is, typically
Mm-hmm.
we'll say that we use drugs and we use alcohol or whatever the case may be. But don't you know we can also self-medicate ourselves by watching things as a distraction? Like you binge watch TV
Mm.
shows to
Oh, that's good. Come
avoid
on
what
and
you have to
expand our
do.
vocabulary on that.
You begin to binge watch. You become obsessed with doing certain
Yes.
things. Like for example, if I think now I don't lost 5 pounds now, so don't get it twisted on this on the screen. So now that I have lost 5 pounds, I want to lose five more. Now, if I'm
Uh-huh.
not careful, it can become
Right.
an addiction. And
Yes.
all I
Yes.
begin is to just and self medication. So for those who don't know, when we want to do this, we try to do these things to rid something that we don't want to face.
Right. Right. And
So
so
when
with
we
that,
are
even Thomas,
when go ahead.
no, so I think that lends leeway to the whole discussion about abuse versus addiction when we're talking about that too,
Mm,
because we can abuse a good thing, and when the abuse now moves into an addiction, that
addiction.
now means that we have now made it such a negative part of our lives that it hinders the positive areas, when it hinders us being able to maintain employment, when it hinders us having healthy relationships, when it hinders us from even having healthy physical health, and all that. Now we've gone from abuse to, we've gone from recreational to abuse to addiction.
Mm,
And we have to make
there
sure
you
that we are
go.
not following in all those things, and those become easy habits when we don't want to face the music about what we're dealing with mentally and physically as well, because those things become poor negative coping skills, which again can lead us to early deaths and early graves if we're not careful.
Which we now try to normalize those bad behaviors. We try to
Exactly.
make it normal. You talking
Yes.
good, Dr. Martin.
Listen,
Hey,
listen. I try and do what I can. Hey, hey. I got a little bit of education on this
I
on
love
this
it. I'm
Juneteenth
loving this
holiday.
discussion.
Yes.
I'm loving it. This
Likewise,
is a good
because
discussion.
it is because okay, and next month when you come on, because this also lends way to as well when we're talking about from social to abuse to addictions. Then and one of the things that I think we as Black men don't understand. I don't think it's just Black men. I just think it's people in general, but especially Black
Hmm.
men. We have this negative mindset about intimacy and how that affects us as well. Uh-huh. We
Yes.
won't even we don't
Yes.
even talk about that because intimacy is not sex, and sex is not intimacy. And that's a whole nother discussion, Thomas. I think we're going to talk about that next month in July. Yes.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready
Yes.
because I think so many people get caught up in the sexual piece that they
Hmm.
miss the important piece of the whole behavior, which is that connection.
Yes. Yes, yes. The mind of a man. That's what we're talking about. We're going to always be the mind of a man, whatever that might be. The mind of the man. Y'all heard it first here on this day with Brother Thomas on the 20th of
Ooh,
June. The mind of a
ooh.
man with Thomas. Yes, yes. So with that, we're running out of time here, Thomas. I want to close on this
Already?
because I know. We about 9 minutes out, 7 minutes out, but I want to just kind of end here because I want us to leave with some tools that we can put in our tool belt in order
Okay.
to get through this. And one of the first things that we can do. So I want to leave us with 5 tips on what we can do
Okay.
to improve our overall wellness as men, as Black men. One of the first things we have to do and must do immediately is find a primary care physician. And I'm going to add this too. I'm going to add on not only find a primary care physician, but find you a therapist as well. That can support you and visit them on a regular basis. Thomas, talk to us about why that is so important.
Well, it's all about the relationship piece, right? You have to be
Yes.
able to identify a physician or a therapist
Yes.
that you can walk into that safe space and place
Yes.
and be able to have an open, fluid dialogue about what is happening in your life. Why is my
Yes.
stomach hurting? Why am I feeling anxious? Why
Yes.
am I feeling like I'm so tired? You have to be able to be in an atmosphere to where you can engage with your physician and your physician can engage with you to make sure that your needs are being met. That is a very key component. So what I'm basically
It
saying to
is.
simplify it, Marty, is relationships. You have to have a
Yes.
relationship with your physicians and therapists. That's very key.
Yes. I've had my primary care physician now for over almost 25 years, almost 25 years now. And
Oh
so now
wow.
half of our talk is not even about, we're talking about business. And I'm like, Doc, you talking about taking an early retirement plan. Now I said, I've been with you almost 25 years. I ain't got time to
Mm-hmm.
break in another
Mm-hmm.
physician. Dog,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
listen, I said, I'm going to need your home address and all that. Well, the first 10 minutes was just talking about catching up on our
Right.
families and all that.
Right.
He's like, Marty, I was in the yard this weekend and was pulling some weeds, and I'm all sore today. But when you have that type of relationship with your primary care, it's not even about just physical health anymore. It's about making sure some other things. And he just said, you know what, man, I have to commend you, for how you are taking care of yourself. And I'm like, Doc, it's because you didn't yelled at me. I said a couple times I was pissed off at you and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you even told me, he said, Doc, you need to lose about 10, 15 more pounds. I'm like, you know what? We're going to fight. but,
Listen,
but that's
Marty,
having that relationship. Yeah.
you said something that's very key that you and your doctor talk 10 minutes about everything under the sun besides of
Yes.
why you're there. Let's talk
Yes.
about why sometimes our physicians do that. Say, for
Right.
example, you have high blood pressure and you're
Right.
stressed out. So instead of me walking into the office and the doctor get to checking the vitals and he gets to looking at your pressure, he knows that you have high blood pressure.
Yes.
So your doctor
That's
engaging with
good.
you, talking about some normal things is going to do what?
Yes.
Take your anxiety down. It's going to bring your
Yes.
pressure down. So when it comes time for him to do his vital scans, your pressure won't be so high.
Yes. And we do that the same thing we do when we have our clients that we see as well. Hey, Catch, what's been going on? How you been? Before we go jump right into the serious topics.
Into it.
So
There
number
you
one,
go.
yes, get and seeing your primary care and therapist because we're gonna advocate for that. Number two, get your screenings done. Find those screenings that's aged appropriate. Shake your family tree. Find out what diseases and other issues run throughout your family and get those screenings done. Thomas, again, why is that so vitally important for us, especially as Black men?
I'm gonna say this because we short on time. I'm gonna simplify it. When we know better, we
We
do
got to do
better.
better. Yes, that's true.
When we know better, we live better.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Number three, we got to eat healthier. Can you have a cheat day? Okay, you can have a cheat day. Don't go overboard, but we got to learn how to eat healthier. And we have to get more plant-based foods and all of that in our diet. We got to learn to leave that hog alone, and definitely deal with add more fresh fruits and vegetables into our diet. Drink a lot more water. I'm preaching to the choir now. Drink a lot more water. And make sure that we're leaving the sodas and all the alcohol in moderation. Now I'm like everybody else. I like me a good old fashioned, but I can't have 10 old fashions every night and expect me to be healthy and well. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So eating healthy and going alongside with that, number four is activity, making sure we are exercising and making sure we are getting the blood flowing. Talk to us about number 3 and 4 about eating healthy and exercising.
3 and 4 is very key in component, and it's simply like this, y'all. You gotta eat what we put in our bodies. Say, for example, you eat that
Yes.
Five Guys burger, and that burger's just
Oh
sitting
God.
there in your stomach. And when you wake
Yes.
up the next morning and it's still there, what does that tell us? That processed burger has not broken down in your body. That
Right.
leads to indigestion. That leads to clogged arteries. You gotta have
Yes.
a well balanced diet, y'all.
Yes.
Well balanced diet. If you don't have any greens on your plate, something is wrong.
That's right.
Put some
That's right.
vegetables on your plate. Don't suck it down with salt. Sometimes just put a little bit of olive oil, some Mrs.
Oh,
Dash,
that's
and
good.
just say thank you, peace, and just eat it. Because
Yes.
black don't crack, but our bones will if we don't
Oh,
exercise. Which
okay.
goes to
Now
the
that's
next
good.
point. Exercise, exercise, exercise. If you're not a big workout person, it's okay to walk around in your community. Walk up and
That's right.
down your steps in your
Some
home.
stairs.
Walk, get some
Yes.
jumping jacks, get a jump rope. Just be active because when we sit, our bones get. I'm 44 years old. The things I was doing at 34, I realized I can't do it at 44. But I'm keeping my body active. Watch your face. I see your screen. Keep being active. Okay, go to the next one. Go to the next one. I ain't gonna do it with
and
you tonight.
finally, and finally, tonight, I added this. I think we have to have accountability partners. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, we are. We are. Get you an accountability partner that's going to hold you behind, accountable to what you say you're going to do. Have an accountability partner. It is so vitally important that you have that. Why? Because sometimes your accountability partner, your bro, is going to drag your behind out there and challenge you like, dog, you know, no, he going to have a salad today because the brother been eating pork chops and applesauce and bacon all this week. Thomas, accountability. Why is that so important?
Accountability is so important because for one who may have low self-esteem, it gives one the
Yeah.
opportunity to keep their self-esteem up. It also gives a space and a place for someone to feel comfortable to be able to talk
Yes.
about other things that may be going into their lives and other potential mountains or barriers that they may be facing. So if I
Yes.
know that I can reach out to you, Marty, and you say, Thomas,
Yes.
keep pushing. Don't give it up.
Yes.
What did you do today?
Yes.
What was our goal? You're holding me accountable, which
That's
eventually I
right.
will begin to do what? Hold myself accountable. Because
That's
we
good.
learn best by what we see and what we do.
I love it. I love it. Man, it's so good to have you back on the show. And then we're going to do this on a monthly basis. Yes, I'm
It
excited. I'm
ain't been no
excited.
hour. It ain't been no hour. I'm messing
It,
with you.
it,
But
it's,
wow, time has
I know
gone.
it goes by so fast. Yes,
Right,
yes.
right, right,
But man, much
right.
love to you. Can't wait to come and hang out with you in the DMV so we can tear up the once was Chocolate City and make it happen, man. Give my love to the family and hope
We'll
all
do.
is
Same to
well.
yours. Same to yours,
Definitely,
brother.
definitely.
Thank you
So,
again.
yeah, my pleasure, man. Listen, we want to thank you for joining us with this episode of Mental Health Marty because we want you to want to have this conversation, especially during the month of June, that your mental health and wellness matters. June is Men's Health Awareness Month, and we want to make sure that you know that you matter. Now, before we leave, we want to leave you with some resources so that you know that you don't have to do this walk all by yourself. So here are some resources that we want to leave you with. Definitely, if you are finding yourself in a crisis matter, you can type crisis to 741-741. You can go to Psychology Today. You can go to therapyforblackmen.com. You can go to Good Therapy because those resources, you will see profiles of the therapists there. And also, marcelconsulting.com is definitely one place you can go to our business as well, but also dial 988 again if you're experiencing any type of mental health crises. Now, we also want you to know that you can visit our website for any type of mental health journey and any type of mental health merchandise. We want you to check out our website at mentalhealthmarty.com. Again, that's mentalhealthmarty.com. And Mental Health Marty is on Instagram, on YouTube, or any of those Facebook. Definitely, we want you to stop the stinking thinking with our affirmations journal, and that will help you to do your writing and your long. And check out our t-shirts and all the merchandise that's on that website that you can order right online, and it comes right to your house. And so again, thank you so much for joining us in this life and this journey called life. We definitely want you to stop secretly suffering in silence in the shadow of shame because we have to change the narrative of what mental health looks like. So we have to stop the stinking thinking. And how do we do that? By speaking up, speaking out, so that you can live your best life. We'll see you next week. Take care and God bless.